You know, Marshall Dillon had his Miss Kitty. Well, Colonel Tom's has its Miss Lou, and celebrating 30 years. It's amazing. Amazing. Miss Lou, thank you for doing this.
We're going to celebrate it August the 16th.
Yeah, August 16th. Of course, we're doing this a little bit early. We're doing this in July. In fact, we're doing it the night of the big bash. It's going to be down here. A lot of bands coming in. But speaking of a lot of bands, you have had a few bands come through Colonel Tom's over 30 years. You don't know how many, do you?
A bunch.
But you know, folks look forward to it, and you have good bands now.
Real good band. And Kenny, I've had lots of bands that they started out here.
I know.
Like Rexton Lee and Kyle Wilson. Several of them that the first time that they'd really played, Blackberry Breeze, lots of good bands in this area that is hard for me to get now sometimes because they stay so booked up.
But I know they appreciate you.
Oh yeah,
that
they feel like they're home when they come back here.
Of course, we have been part of Madwin all those years, and we're back together now. We were down here when it was the old Colonel Tom's, before it burned down. Then we were fortunate to be here the night of the big tent, a part of having a fundraiser to get it back open again.
Well, without y'all being here, Kenny Dean, we wouldn't have got it back open.
Well, you know, that's something because of, it's a friendship.
Right.
It's more than you just booking a band, and that's the way it works with these other bands too. It's a friendship.
Right. It's sort of like a family.
It is.
It's sort of like a family.
It's built, and I probably say this a lot in a lot of my shows. It's building those relationships,
right?
And that's what we go back 15, 20 years. I've been knowing Tom for forever, and it's just always been fun. But I guess you may wonder, well, how does somebody stay in business in the honky tonk, in the bar business for 30 years? It's a business. It has to be run like one, and that's what you've done.
Well, it's a business, but it's also a social place.
Oh yeah.
And there's lots of times, right now, there's lots of the kids that the mamas and their daddies used to come. So I mean,
yeah, I know.
So I mean, and I've always tried to keep things safe for them, and the mamas and the daddies that their kids comes now knows that because that's the way it was then. So
I guess one thing I always think about, especially when we first started coming down here, whether it was the old one, but especially in the new one, the one we're in right now, I just always remember I'm carrying on a conversation with this woman. She's listening to me, but she knows everything that's going on around her, and because that's it's got to be run again like a business.
Right, it has to be
and
run
people
like
that cause trouble, they're out, and that's the only way. That's another part of that success.
Be good or be gone.
It's real easy. It's real simple. But you know what? When you come down here with the attitude, hey, I'm coming down here to have a good time, and I come down here and have that good time, then I go home. That's to me, that's still part of that success.
Yeah, I think really what it is, I have lots and lots and lots of out-of-towners, especially during the summertime, but they really come back from year to year. Every year they come back. You see the same faces every year, and plus a few more that they bring. But they feel like that they can sort of redneck it just a little bit on Lake Martin, but feel safe when they're doing it. They know that nothing bad's going to happen.
One thing I think about is the dress down here. I mean, you may come in here casual. You may come from a wedding party and everybody's got their tux on, their dresses on. So that's still part of the whole thing. And, it's just come as you are. It's an open door policy. You come on here and have a good time, but that's what we want you to have a good time.
Right. That's what it's all about.
I guess I want to say, if you were going to give advice to somebody that's going to get into this business, what would you say to them? Don't.
I don't know what I'd say to them, but just to always remember that they are your business. Without them, you absolutely have nothing. So I mean, you've got to know, and they've got to know how much you appreciate them.
And that was the other thing that I was going to say. In fact, we were talking about it last week. You know, some bands that are going to draw big crowds, they're going to make you money, they're going to make money. Then there's other bands that's not going to do that, but you just got to weigh it all out, and that's again, that's part of that success rate.
Yeah, that's all a part of it. That's just all a part of it. I mean, you know, yeah, some bands is going to make more than the other bands, but I mean, but that don't mean because this one made a whole big bunch of money over here that I'm not going to book this band over here.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, you know. Because if they sound good and they go over good with the audience, so it was an off night that night. But I mean, they gonna tell the others, hey, they sound good, you know, and so that's just the way that it works.
Well, you're not gonna hit a home run every weekend or every.
No,
time
you're not gonna hit a home run every time. You can't get a Kyle every weekend.
No, exactly. But you also stay consistent. You just keep on keeping on, and the other thing. There's a lot of hours to put into this. Again, you've got to be married to this business, and that's what you have been.
Well, you know, Kenny, you know better than anybody else because your band was the house band here for a long time. The house band here for a long time. You were the house band in the old bar. And then, I mean, you know, even when y'all played somewhere else, y'all just drag your equipment in the back there and set it up and start playing.
Come on in.
Come on in.
I guess that's why it's been so much fun all these years. And I guess the other thing I want to say to you, bands that are getting started now, you know, Lou's gonna give you a chance.
But
you know, but here again, the band's got to act right too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not just the people out here that's partying with them, but the band's got to act right too.
The band's got to come in and they've got to be professional and they've got to act like a band. I don't want, you know, it's not up there them having a good time. I want them to have a good time. But it's to make sure that their customers, and that's what they are, is their customers is having a good time.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's when you come in here, bands, you got to treat it like a business. You come in here, you do your part, you play your 3-4 hours, whatever it is. You do your part. Lou does her part, and the people that are out here participating and having that good time, that's part of that chemistry. And it's got to be a chemistry with everybody.
Right. And we do have lots of good bands that comes in, and I've never had a band to come in here that didn't want to come back in here again.
Oh, I know.
When they come one time, they want to come back.
But that's you know, now because of you can just pick and choose because I mean I see the bands that are listed out here right now. These are real good bands that play all over the Southeast too. So that's again the success rate of this whole business. 30 years. And
in fact, August the 16th on our 30th anniversary, we have a very good band which is called Mad Wind. It's coming in at 8 o'clock. It's going to play to 10 o'clock.
Wow.
And then we have Kyle that's coming in later with his band.
Kyle
so that's going to be a huge night that night.
Well, we're you know when you asked us, I mean it was just so humbling because number one we're friends. We did play a few times down here over several years, but when Lou asked us to play, we just played down here recently, and when Lou asked us to play for the 30th anniversary, boy, it was very humbling, and we're looking forward to it. But again, 30 years. I say just a big old congratulations, and I hope you have many more years.
Well, maybe not 30. But
I was going to say that. I said, no, you don't want another 30 down here. But you know what? It's going to be tough for somebody to carry on what Miss Lou has that you've already set up.
Right. Well, I couldn't have just anybody to come in here and run Colonel Tom's. They might not do it right. I have to have a special person to come in here and do that. And I don't know who that is yet.
Well, I tell you what, this is a special lady. Always has been, always will be, the one and only Miss Lou at Colonel Tom's celebrating 30 years. Congratulations, honey.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Love you so much. Hey, thank y'all for being with us. Hang around. We'll be right back.